Mental health and wellness for me, but none for thee. Grace, patience, empathy, boundaries, all of those things for me, but none for thee. Chappell Roan has been having a very interesting couple of weeks, and watching the way her fan base and the internet has turned on her has been a very sobering and stark reminder of all the ways in which people are unwilling to give others the grace, the empathy, the respect of their boundaries. Everything that they demand from others, they are unwilling to give and extend to other people. I'm a big Venn diagram person, and so what's been interesting to me to watch this conversation unfold when it comes to her fan base and the people who are giving her all of this energy and static. Just a few weeks ago, just last week, I won't even say just a few weeks ago, we were having a conversation about customer service employees being hostile, unhelpful, unwilling to say hello. There are so many people advocating for this antisocial behavior under the guise of, oh, saying hello, and customer service jobs can be very taxing on someone's mental health, their mental wellness. It can be exhausting. It can be very draining. We should give them grace. We should give them empathy. We should understand their boundaries. But when it comes to a celebrity being unable to perform their job as a result of their own mental health and wellness struggle, all of a sudden that same demographic is giving her a lot of backlash because of her canceling her show. The entire thing, it's just really highlighted people's hypocrisy, and it's not even just from the perspective of being unwilling to give others empathy, grace, patience, respect her mental health and wellness. It's also hypocritical from the standpoint of capitalism. We are all living and existing under the system of capitalism. People are able to acutely understand the ways in which customer service representatives may be struggling under the burden, under the weight of capitalism. But these same people who are participating in the system of capitalism to see Chappell Roan perform are participating in the system of capitalism to consume her product, her art, her talent, her music. You get what I'm saying? Like, are we seeing the disconnect? Are we not seeing it yet? Because we're gonna go through it. But first of all, let's backtrack, because I just realized I just introduced somebody that y'all may not be aware of. So if you do not know who Chappell Roan is a 26-year-old recording artist. She has just slung-shot to fame, even though she's been putting out music for a while, like 4 years. I wanna say since 2017, 2018, she has just really garnered a lot of mainstream success over the past year and a half. I would say this summer, she really blew up. Earlier this year, she really blew up. A little bit more information about her. Chappell Roan is an American singer and songwriter whose real name is Kaylee Rose Amstutz. I think I'm saying that right, Amstutz. I wonder if that's German. But anyways, her music is inspired by 1980s synth pop and early 2000s pop hits. Roan's career began when she was a teenager uploading cover songs on YouTube. Roan is considered a figurehead of the lesbian pop renaissance. Some of her songs have blown up over the past few months. You may or may not have heard them and have not connected that they were her, but in case you haven't heard them before, some of her songs are Hot to Go, Pink Pony Club, Phenomenon, and Good Luck Babe. I personally love Phenomenon. I played in my SoulCycle classes a lot, and I had a Chappell Roan theme ride a few months ago. I need to run that back, actually. I need to put that on tap for November. But anyway, so that's the background of Chappell Roan. I really like her music. I love her art. She is very outspoken. Like many of her peers, she is a very front-facing artist. She is very active on social media, and this is part of what has gotten her caught up in the sense that what she has had to say on social media has had her on the receiving end of a lot of backlash. Chappell Roan has been very verbal about her criticisms with the government and both political parties in general as it pertains to how they are handling Palestine and their stance on trans rights. Watching a lot of people's response to her, I personally think a lot of people took what she had to say out of context. She did an article with the Rolling Stone, which essentially she said she didn't feel a need to endorse any political party because she has issues with both sides. And I just want to say I really hate this both sides argument because I think it's a little tone deaf, especially as someone who would describe herself most likely as a leftist, but her politic is one that would be more aligned with the Democratic Party. And I totally get that people, their stance, a lot of people are feeling disillusioned with both parties, and that's very valid. We are existing in a time of political theater, and that is just the reality we are in. A lot of people feel very disillusioned and let down by their government, regardless of whatever side is currently in office. But I think it is a little disingenuous to both sides when it comes to the Democratic and Republican Party it's a little disingenuous to both sides of the equation when one side is actively trying to erode the rights for people of color and the trans community, the LGBTQIA plus community, trying to erode the education system. Like, there is one party that is actively, proudly working towards the destruction of our country, whereas the other side is trying to combat certain things and push for policies that are going to benefit people of color, that are going to benefit the trans community, etc. When you look at both parties collectively, holistically, and look at the policies they are advocating and pushing for, I think the whole both sides argument, both sides are bad, is disingenuous. However, I can also understand people are just disillusioned with political parties in general. So I understood what she was saying when it came to that. So as a result of this, she said she did not feel really inclined to endorse any candidate because there is, and I really like that she articulated this and broke this thing down. Just because you are unwilling to endorse a candidate doesn't mean you are unwilling to vote for them. To endorse a candidate is to put your full weight behind them and basically put your stamp on, I approve this, I am down with this 100%, and that's not where she feels she is right now. And that is 110% respectable and understandable. You can vote for a candidate without endorsing them, and I think a lot of us have been doing that for the past few elections. There are people who 100% believe in the policies of either party, and that's wonderful. Like, if you're one of those people, that is great. But if you are like the vast majority of people, you are not 110%, 10 toes down, 110% in believing everything, able to endorse everything. So I think there is a marked difference between endorsing a candidate and voting for a candidate. And I think the timing was also very interesting because it was when Taylor Swift came out and endorsed Kamala. And I think people started to put pressure on Chappell because it's like, hey, Taylor is a bigger artist and she is endorsing Kamala, so why are you? Like, you know, I think the timing was very interesting. So I think it was a combination of timing, both timing and people not reading in full what she had to say and taking what she said out of context, because that's just what people do. People don't read anymore, unfortunately. I just had a video about this. People will sit there and just listen to sound bites of information or listen to what somebody else said that they said, you know, regurgitated little pieces of information that by the time it gets to you, the context has been completely stripped off of it. And because people are reactionary and social media apps, particularly TikTok, is fueled by rage and clickbait, then you get what this has snowballed into. And so she did a follow-up article with The Guardian, eventually endorsing Kamala, but clearing up what she had to say. Well, I don't know if it was so much, I don't know if her interview with The Guardian was clearing up so much as it was doubling down, saying she didn't feel really pressured to endorse anyone because both sides are bad. And so she was just on the receiving end of, after that article with The Guardian, she was on the receiving end of a lot of backlash, a lot of criticism, and she finally took to her TikTok to state that, yes, she will be voting for Kamala, but she just wants people to use critical thinking skills. And listen, we are in a critical thinking, critical listening. We are in a crisis. People don't be listening. People don't be reading. People don't be doing their Googles. Like, this is where we are. And then not only are people not doing those things, when you address it and bring it up, people get very angry. Like, they take that shit very personally. Like, how dare you think I wasn't listening to you? Even though everything that I just said in response to you, what you said proves 110% that I wasn't listening. Like, sometimes I will, and this is why I want to lean more into YouTube, because I feel like you can have more nuanced conversations here because you are not combating and dealing with the mob that is TikTok, in which people listen to respond, not to understand. And they're not even listening to respond. They are just hearing one thing and deciding that they don't like what you have to say and you are wrong, and they won't even watch something in its entirety before jumping into the comments and proving what Chappell Roan said exactly. People are not practicing critical listening and critical thinking skills, but I digress. She put out that TikTok video clarifying what she had to say, endorsing Kamala Harris, and people are still mad because rage is a drug. It is something that fuels people, self-righteousness. You know, people really get off on collectively thrashing someone. So I just think she got to a place where she could not take it anymore. And after both of those interviews, after both of those posts on TikTok, people were still not getting the point, flaming her, bashing her. She finally just got to a place where she's decided she had to step away, cancel 2 of her appearances that she would have been making at All Things Go in New York and DC, and posted this statement. I apologize to people who have been waiting to see me in NYC and DC this weekend at All Things Go, but I am unable to perform. Things have gotten overwhelming over the past few weeks and I am really feeling it. I feel pressures to prioritize a lot of things right now, and I need a few days to prioritize my health. I want to be present when I perform and give the best shows possible. Thank you for understanding. Be back soon, XOX. And people are still mad, you know? What's crazy to me is this type of thrashing is coming from her fan base. And it's really saddening because she has been very open with her mental health struggles. She continues to show up as a celebrity the way she has always shown up before she blew up. Her fame was not necessarily overnight, but it was pretty swift, you know. I saw a couple of people saying she's an industry plant, and it's like, nah, this girl immediately no. For how outspoken she is, and again, she's been uploading on YouTube for a while now, she is not an industry plant. She is a celebrity everybody says they want. She continues to show up as she did before fame. She gets on TikTok, she posts, she is very open. She has bipolar. She has been very open about that. You know, she is honest, she is refreshing, she is funny. She communicates one-on-one with her fans. She doesn't mince words. She's real. I really like her. She is the type of celebrity people say that they want. She is a human. She is a human being, not a human doing. And this is why I find the backlash against her from her own fan base so interesting, because it's like, she is everything y'all said you wanted, and now y'all are mad. Like, what do you want? People don't know what they want. And listen, like I said earlier, I do think it's disingenuous to both sides, both political parties, and this video was not going to become that. So I'm going to keep it, you know, we're not going to get into that. While I do think it's disingenuous to both sides, the Democratic and the Republican Party, she is entitled to that opinion. You know, it's like people do not know what they want. Could she have articulated herself better? Absolutely. She clarified what she said 2 and 3 times. At a certain point, people are just committed to being angry and missing the point. And if, hey, that's you, then roll with it. But you can't put it on her that she didn't articulate herself well, that she didn't explain herself well, because she may not have verbalized what she had to say in the best way. She has come out in another article and in 2 separate videos articulating herself pretty well. So people are either committed to being angry or committed to missing the point. But what I really hope to see us get away from is expecting nuanced takes, and not just nuanced takes, but informed perspectives from celebrities and people who are not versed in the language of politics. Because we all have our opinions on different stances, but I've never understood why a celebrity endorsing a certain candidate means anything, why it should carry any value, why it should carry any weight. Because while I do understand everybody has the right to want to know who they're supporting, I would not want to support somebody who stands for certain things that are against my core values. I would not want to consume their music just the same way I would not buy from a company who engages in practices I don't believe in. We are all existing under the system of capitalism, and money is currency. Attention is also currency. Who we support is currency. And so I'm not trying to support and give a platform to somebody that stands against my values and what I believe in. At the same time, if you wouldn't put on a pedestal the opinion of your local gas station clerk, why are you putting the opinion of some celebrity you don't know on such a platform, on such a pedestal? Like, we are existing in such a culture of celebrity worship and idol worship, and we say we don't want that, right? Because there's a very vocal group of people who are saying they want to push back against that, but then you're also simultaneously trying to cancel. Well, I don't believe in cancel culture. Cancel culture is not real, so let me not say cancel. You are sending all of this energy and static and hate and aggression and frustration to these random celebrities because they have voiced an opinion that is inarticulate. And it's like, of course it's going to be inarticulate. Why are you expecting this from a celebrity? I never understood that. And I really hope we get away from celebrity endorsements meaning anything, especially when it comes to political candidates and who you're voting for. Like, and I honestly wonder what it is like in other countries, because this seems like a very American thing, but I also recognize I'm receiving it as an American thing because I live in America and that's what I've been exposed to. I think it's really great that in other political parties, in other countries, you cannot run certain commercials on the radio, on TV. They have more strict parameters around politics and campaigning and who can donate for this and who can donate how much money. Like, they are more strict. The process yields for a more educated voting bloc and demographic, whereas in America, we are not politically engaged and politically informed. I want to move on to how hypocritical the backlash she is receiving when it comes to lack of respect and lack of care for people's mental health and wellness. Chappell Roan, she has been very upfront and honest about her mental health struggles. She is bipolar 2. In that statement, she let people know that she was experiencing not in the best place mentally and wants to take a step back for her mental health and wellness. We exist in a society where we just expect people to show up and perform. People are not allowed to have bad days. And when we were having the customer service conversation about cashiers not saying hello and not being friendly, not being helpful, just basically advocating for antisocial behavior, people seem to understand the ways in which capitalism can take an effect on someone's mental health, especially as it pertains to customer service positions. People were saying that to say hello, to be helpful, to engage in conversation was draining, it was exhausting, it was violating their boundaries, it was negatively impacting their mental health, and people could understand that. And what's crazy to me is that the customers who are coming in, who are using the services of that business, are also engaging in the system of capitalism, right? They are going in to receive a service, and you being unhelpful, you being unwilling to perform your job within the system of capitalism, that's okay. That should be okay when it comes to your mental health, because your mental health should be the priority. That seems fair. Okay, you should give people grace and understanding and have all of the patience and respect their boundaries. Okay, cool. So why is it then when somebody else engaging in the system of capitalism as a performer in the context of their job, Chappell Roan stepping away to preserve and take care of her mental health, all of a sudden, you need to do your job. You need to show up. I paid X, Y, and Z amount of tickets to see you. I'm so disappointed. And it's not like, here's the thing, these are festivals, right? So she was performing, she was going to have a set at this festival. The show was not built around her. So if she doesn't show up, the entire thing doesn't get canceled. So it's not as if she is canceling a concert performance, a concert tour, a stop, or anything. She is pulling out of a festival lineup to take care of her mental health and wellness. She is not performing the duties of her job to protect and preserve her mental health. And that's inconceivable to a lot of people. They are unwilling to give her grace. They are unwilling to give her empathy. They are unwilling to extend her the same patience that they would want in their line of work. Everybody wants to be a leftist. Everybody wants to be a revolutionary. Everybody wants to step away from capitalism. But you are participating in the system of capitalism, and people seem to understand that very clearly when it negatively impacts them. Everybody wants to be an anti-capitalist until it comes time to you and your money and the services and the goods that you are not getting despite giving your money, which is capitalism. Are we connecting? We're connecting. Okay, good. And I think also what plays a role in this expectation and entitlement to people, especially influencers, celebrities, public figures, we don't see them as humans. We don't see them as real people. We don't see the work that they do as real labor. Actually having a conversation about this the other day, because I do not believe anybody who shows up as a public figure, just because you are a public figure, you are not opening up yourself for abuse, constant criticism, constant backlash. That's not what comes with the grounds. That's not what comes with the job. And that we have kind of normalized this mentality is really a reflection of how entitled people have become while we constantly dehumanize another. We are constantly increasingly asking for and expecting empathy for others while we are constantly dehumanizing other people. Stepping away for one's mental health and wellness is It's a relatively new concept in our society. If I've said this once, I've said it a million times. We live in a culture of suffering. We live in a culture where people think to get to where you want to be, you need to put yourself, your mind, your body, your soul through constant stress and struggle and strife. And I've never believed that or personally ascribed it to myself, because while grit will give you a certain edge in life, you are not able to optimally show up and perform as best as you can when you are not listening to the cues your body is sending you. We've normalized and even celebrated to a certain degree people running their bodies into the ground, running their minds, their hearts, their soul, running themselves into the ground in pursuit of some goal. And then when they finally keel over and pass out, or the body gives out, and it's like, man, they gave everything they got. I love it. Now that's a real fighter. That's a real winner. That's a real competitor. And it's like, what? And so because we are so used to that, that's been so normalized. Like, think about Carrie Strug. Remember Carrie Strug from the Olympics? That girl vaulted on a broken ankle. Like, literally, she limped off the freaking platform. She couldn't walk. She shattered her ankle, and that ultimately ended her career. And people are like, woo, she never performed again. You know, and she did go off on a high note, but we expect that from people. And so when we have now this generation of performers and athletes stepping away, like, no, I need to prioritize my mental health, they were flamed for it. Like, I remember when Simone Biles recently, Naomi Osaka, when they stepped away from their respective sports, they were like, I need to prioritize my mental health right now. I'm not in a good place. And people gave them shit for it. You know, we do not value and we do not respect, as much as we say we are coming to a place where we respect mental health, we respect people taking breaks, we respect people listening to their bodies and taking a step back and doing whatever they need to do to get back to 100% so they can show up better. We say that in words, but our words are not lining up with our actions. And it's interesting to me because I would love to see a Venn diagram of Chappell Roan fans and people who are advocating for antisocial behaviors from cashiers and customer service employees under the guise of preserving one's mental health. I think that Venn diagram would be a full circle. It would not surprise me at all. People ultimately got to decide what they want, because you can't have it both ways. And that brings me honestly to the end of this video. Chappell Roan is a celebrity y'all said you wanted. You wanted someone that was real. You wanted somebody that was connected with the average person, who was aware of what's going on, who was politically engaged, who was speaking up for Palestine and all the other genocides going on in the world. This is what y'all wanted. This is the celebrity y'all said y'all wanted. And now y'all are mad at her for doing exactly what y'all wanted of her. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. The math is not mathing here. What's the disconnect? I keep on seeing people suggest she should get a PR team, deactivate her account, log off, let somebody else manage her account. And then if she does exactly all of those things, what will the narrative then become? Oh, she's Hollywood. She thinks she's better than us. She doesn't interact with her fans anymore. Like, these are the same people who got mad at her when she said, I would really appreciate if y'all would stop stalking me and my family members, because that's not okay. Like, why would anyone have to sit here and tell you that randomly popping up to their family members' homes and doxing them and stalking them is not okay? And then y'all get mad? Y'all get mad because you can't engage in parasocial relationships with your favorite? Like, go outside, touch some grass. Y'all go outside, go touch some grass. Finish watching this video and then go touch some grass for real. Okay, on the real though, I disagree. I don't think she needs to do any of those things. I think she needs to continue to prioritize her mental health. I think we all need to really take a step back and recognize that we cannot expect of others what we are not willing to give to other people. We are all suffering under the system of capitalism. We are all suffering under the system of labor exploitation. And Chappell Roan being in a place where she may be suffering less because she is making more does not mean she is less human, and does not mean she exists for y'all to just take. We need to recognize the humanity in others. And I think the further separated people become from the average person, with certain influencers who have reached a certain level, performing artists, celebrities, etc., the further they become from the average person, the more we dehumanize them and don't respect the fact that they are absolutely human beings with the same emotions. And we need to give them the grace that we would expect, we would want people to give us when we are having mental health struggles, when we need to take a step away, when we are exhausted, when we are drained. You can't ask people to respect your boundaries and be unwilling to respect the boundaries of others, even, yes, your faves included, because they are humans just like you. They are just humans in maybe a different tax bracket than you are. And I think we should also stop looking at celebrities to represent us in the sense of what we stand for, our values, our moral compass, our political, our politics. You know, I think we are living in a very sad time where a lot of us are feeling politically disenfranchised. We feel like it doesn't matter who we vote for because nothing is going to change, and screaming at Chappell Roan and other celebrities to endorse a certain candidate isn't going to change that. Like, whatever changes you are hoping to see, actually get out there and facilitate those changes. Be involved in your local elections. Show up to your community meetings. Don't just wait for your favorite celebrity to endorse whatever political party you are voting for. Like, that's very lazy. It's ignorant. Y'all gotta stop expecting more from celebrities than you expect from the people you voted in or your elected officials. You know, I think it's absolutely insane that we are looking to a 26-year-old or any influencer or any celebrity or any actor, actress, any public figure. We are holding them more responsible for what's going on in the country politically than we are the elected officials and the people who actually are the ones who are implementing these policies and have the power to do what we need them to do or do what we want them to do. I think we need to be honest with ourselves, and it's time to reset some expectations and take a little bit more accountability. If you are frustrated with something that is happening in politics or within your community and you are not liking the way it's going, instead of getting online and demanding influencers say something and public figures say something, why don't you be the change that you want to see? And that change starts with giving and actually doing what we expect from other people. If you're not doing anything, if you're not standing up for anything, but you're expecting that of others, that's hypocritical, and we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. So that's all I got. In the meantime, leave that girl alone. Y'all leave Chappell Roan alone, and make sure you're registered to vote. Go check out your next community meeting and go there. That's it. That's all. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace out.